And for more on this, we're now being joined by Colonel David Widerosh from Washington, D.C. He's a professor at the Near East South Asia Center for Strategic Studies, National Defense University. Colonel, always a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you.
Now, Colonel, how effective will the ceasefire be, given how volatile the region has been? The ceasefire is in effect, and Israel is still continuing with its offensive in Gaza. In fact, it has said that now that a ceasefire has been secured, it will allow Israel to focus on Gaza. How do you assess this?
Well, I think it is true that Israel will focus on Gaza. I think that this will probably come as a blow to what's left of Hamas in Gaza. I think this would also come as a blow to Iran, which has relied on Lebanese Hezbollah as their primary check on Israel. But as to how effective it will be, there's two unknowns here. The first is the ceasefire arrangement is predicated on the idea that the Lebanese armed forces will restore Lebanese sovereignty in South Lebanon, that they will disarm and supplant what's left of Lebanese Hezbollah, and that the Lebanese state will actually exercise sovereignty, not Lebanese Hezbollah. So that's issue one. Issue two is right now, Lebanese Hezbollah is clearly on the back leg. They're clearly beaten. The question is, since they're not direct participants in this negotiation, will they actually abide by the ceasefire in the long term, or will this just provide them breathing room to rearm, refit, and resume the campaign? So if either one of those things happens, then the ceasefire will obviously fail.
Colonel, given the fact that, now that Israel is going to focus on Hamas in Gaza, and I just wanted to, highlight the cyclical nature that it may take, and I wanted to then get your thoughts on this, that the fact that Israel went into Lebanon was because Hezbollah had been firing rockets at Israel. Hezbollah says it was firing rockets because Israel would not pull out of Gaza. Now that Israel is, perhaps now that the ceasefire will take effect, Israel will go back strongly into Gaza. And then again that cycle starts, that Hezbollah's reasons again come to the fore, that they will want to start attacking Israel. Do you feel Hezbollah will take that kind of stance yet again now that this ceasefire will happen? Do you feel Hezbollah will revert to what it was doing ever since 8th of October last year?
Well, up until relatively late in the game, the Hezbollah's role in support of Gaza was minimal. Hezbollah was not ready for October 7th. They were caught by surprise. And a lot of their action until relatively recently was really ineffective and performative. Bear in mind, Lebanese Hezbollah is a Shia movement and Hamas is a Sunni movement. There have been breaks between them in the past. In 2014, Hamas actually moved its headquarters out of Damascus and broke with Hezbollah because Hezbollah was taking the lead in saving the Bashar al-Assad regime in Syria and assisting them in basically ethnically cleansing fellow Sunni Muslims from Syria. So I think that this is a bad mood for Gaza, but I don't think that Israel is going to be moving a whole lot of military assets directly from Lebanon into Gaza. I think that that conflict has its own calculus and its own forces. I think that Israel's more likely to return these forces, most of whom are reservists, back to civilian life to try to restore normal life and heal the Israeli economy, which has taken quite a beating in the course of these two wars.
Right, Colonel, I just want to come back to a point that you were making earlier about the conditions, the broader conditions for a truce as well. It is currently 4 a.m. in Lebanon, and this is when the ceasefire is set to take effect. Now, if you were to talk about what happened after the announcement was followed by the heaviest day of raids in Beirut since Israel stepped up its campaign in Lebanon. That being said, do you think a ceasefire can thoroughly be implemented here? And what are some of the things that are at stake? Do you think the ground situation will change?
And just to supplement that, Colonel, do you feel the people who have been displaced, would they also be starting to make their way back?
I think that they will make their way back, but I think the people who have been displaced are going to wait to see what happened. Obviously, they're fleeing conflict. So they're not going to go back until they're convinced that the conflict is not going to resume itself. So there's two parties to the conflict. The first is Lebanese Hezbollah. There's actually three parties. First is Lebanese Hezbollah. Second is the Lebanese armed forces. And the third is Israel. Israel, I think, has achieved most of its campaign goals. Lebanese Hezbollah's military structure has been pretty much destroyed in southern Lebanon and has been badly damaged in the rest of Lebanon. There's also been the supply lines that Lebanese Hezbollah gets from Russia, from Syria, from Iran have been interdicted and are going to be very difficult to reconstitute. So I think that the conditions are ripe for an Israeli withdrawal. And I think that if Israel does, in fact, withdraw, then I think those civilians will return. I don't think they're going to return while Israel is still in control of South Lebanon. So what the ceasefire envisions is that the Lebanese state will move in, the Lebanese armed forces will move in, Israel will withdraw, and Lebanese Hezbollah will not return. I think that refugees will start to return as the Lebanese armed forces secure South Israel. I don't think they're that concerned by any resurgence of Lebanese Hezbollah.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us and always sharing all your insights based on historical facts as well. It's always enriching to hear from you and always gives our viewers a better perspective of where things stand as of now and what may happen next. Always a pleasure speaking with you. That was Colonel David B. DeRoche joining us on World DNA.
Very gracious. Thank you.